Good morning, ECI. Welcome in another Focus of the Week meeting, 6:30 on the dot. So let's get started. June 5th. Wow. So we had a rough week on the incident front. We had to restart our counters after Monday. Another thing happened on, I think it was Wednesday, and then yesterday, or actually another one thing happened on like late Wednesday with vehicle related. So we had to kind of restart this week. So historically, June is definitely a high frequency of the incident rate, so we need to really put priorities first, and we'll be talking more about that. But again, let's try to start the day off well this morning with a good meeting here, and then transition that right into your JHA, and let's work smart, let's work safe, let's work together, let's solve problems together, and let's not take on unnecessary risks that put yourself or others in danger. So this week, we're going to have Aaron joining us, Marco, with our annual EEO training. It's a compliance requirement. It's a big deal for federal and state guidelines. I'm really excited to get my annual refresher in EEO. So bring the energy, Aaron. We're ready for you.
Thank you, Matt. Good morning, everybody. As Matt just very eloquently put it, it is time for our annual refresher. That means that it is very important that we know that you attended today's meeting, because otherwise you will be hearing from myself, from Matt, from Tom, because we have to have attendance if we ever were to get audited by the Office of Civil Rights. So please, please, please make sure you let us know that you have watched this, because otherwise I'm going to be looking for you so I can give you this refresher. Okay, so for everybody's refresher, EEO is an acronym that means Equal Employment Opportunity. It is a term that basically refers to the idea that when it comes to any kind of formal employment-related decision, whether that's hiring, firing, retirement, promotion, any kind of pay increase or bonuses, you deserve to be treated with basic respect and dignity. Any kind of protected background characteristic, that's your classic 1964 Civil Rights Act of like the race, color, creed that we talk about in our high school civics class. But that also includes quite a few other protected characteristics, because there have been a lot of state, federal, local laws that also apply. So the classic example we really like to use is if I have 5 people who are all sitting around a table competing for the same job, I'm not going to be basing my decision on who to hire off of anything that has to do with who they are as a person, and instead making the decision based off of merit. That's their education, their expertise, their experience, if they have like referrals or recommendations. Those kinds of factors are what we make those employment related decisions on. All right. So here at ECI, we have the ability to not only do what is required by our legal mandates through the various legislations that are in place, but we also then take it one step further through our special culture that we have here. We recognize the fact that having people with various backgrounds who are able to bring different perspectives to the table creates a stronger workforce overall. We're able to have greater intellectual freedom, we're able to have different perspectives and problem-solving skills, and it just makes for a stronger workforce. So definitely something we value in our employee owners, of having that ability to not only do what is legally required, but also just to have a place that has just that culture and that respect built in to our kind of workplace. So right from the handbook, we have this quote here: our policy reflects our commitment to the principles of fair employment and the elimination of all discriminatory practices. And really, that's what it boils down to from a compliance perspective of what our mandate must be. So as everyone knows, we are subject to oversight from the Office of Civil Rights here in the state of Vermont. And in just a moment here, I'm going to talk about the kinds of questions that our wonderful auditors might ask if they were to show up on any of your job sites. But really, this is the meat of why we have to do these refresher topics. We want to make sure that people are aware that they have these protections in place. So if you ever run into a situation where you feel like something happened that you're maybe not comfortable with, or you witnessed something that happened that you weren't comfortable with, you know that you have these rights and you can come talk to us about, hey, this happened. I want to make sure that it's okay. Let's talk about it. Let's work together to make sure that we have a full workup done for it. Okay. And then getting back into that culture, I just was talking about a moment ago, we have our code of conduct. Everyone here is very familiar. And we really do create a very special professional atmosphere here at ECI through following these 13 items that is automatically going to be free of any kind of harassment or discrimination, just because, again, really what it boils down to is treating people with respect and dignity based off of the fact that they are people. Huge. All right. And then we also have a few other sections in the handbook that are going to be especially relevant for these topics. This is just a quick little guide to where in the employee handbook you are able to find those policies and procedures. If you just need them as a quick reference, you're also welcome to come chat with me about them. I am more than happy to talk about any circumstances that might come up that you maybe want a second opinion on, or you might want help with dealing with. But you're always welcome to use these various topics that I have highlighted here as just a quick reference guide. All right. So I like to joke with my orientation groups when I have to do a similar version of this presentation to them that I'm giving them the answers to the test. But in practice, I really am. The auditors are not going to be looking at whether or not you have memorized the names of all of these pieces of legislation, or that you can perfectly explain all of the protected categories that apply. Instead, what they're trying to do is make sure that we've had this conversation, that you're aware of what rights and protections that you have. So really functionally, me giving you the answers to the test, again, as I like to joke, is what they are looking for, because they want to make sure that you are aware of what all applies here. So I'm not going to make everybody guess along with me. I will give everybody a hint. The answer to most of these is just yes. They are not going to probably be trying to trip you up. They're really just, again, making sure that all of the various protections that are required are in place, and we have procedures with which to deal with a situation where they might have been violated. So first up, are we an equal opportunity employer, aka do we practice good EEO? We absolutely do. From the handbook, you can see there are quite a few protected categories that do apply these days. Again, because of federal, from state, from local laws that have been passed, as well as various judicial rulings. So the good rule of thumb to really use here is if you feel like somebody is making any kind of comment, situation, any kind of decision that impacts your employment here at ECI because of something that is just part of who you are as a person, it's probably not acceptable, and we should be having a conversation about it. Okay. So do we have a written EEO policy? Again, absolutely, this is a yes. It's available for anyone to review. It's a 5-page document that basically goes through all of our various legislative requirements and our various reporting procedures. I don't typically hand it out to everyone as part of their onboarding here at ECI, just because it really goes into a lot more legalese than most people really need to know about, but you're always welcome to get a copy if you would like. All right. Do we have a written DEI policy? Another one that is a big yes. DEI, or diversity, equity, and inclusion, is basically a procedure that ensures that we go one step further from what the legal mandate requires under EEO, in that we are not only just saying, yep, we follow the law and we make sure that everybody here knows what their rights are, but we take it one step further and say, you know what, we benefit from having a workforce who has lots of different backgrounds, and we benefit from having employee owners who are able to bring a unique perspective. So if anyone would like to look over the language in there, that is direct from the handbook that I have included that screenshot. All right. So for anyone who is not familiar, Davis-Bacon, whether or not we follow Davis-Bacon requirements, Davis-Bacon is a law that was passed in 1931 that basically requires that any projects of civil works that have state and federal funding apply to them must have a prevailing wage rate. And what that functionally means is that when you are doing work that has government money associated with it, there's a minimum wage that you have to be making. Those wages need to be included as part of our contract documents, and we have some payroll requirements for how we need to handle them. So if you have any questions on how to kind of interpret your pay stub into seeing like, okay, how do I understand what this is? Happy to have that conversation. Sarah is a great resource for that, as is Sam, our wonderful new payroll person who replaced Melanie, for those of you who weren't aware. So we do follow the requirements for that, though. Functionally, most of the time, it's not going to be something that impacts you, but happy again in cases where you are working on a certified payroll job, happy to help you interpret what that prevailing wage rate looks like. All right, and then coming towards the end of these policies, whether or not we have a reasonable accommodation policy, we absolutely have that one too. It might be a little bit more familiar to hear the ADA, the Americans with Disability Act. It's basically conditions that are protected under the ADA. Reasonable accommodations is how we're able to create structure in our workplace in order to better support those conditions. Whether you're someone maybe who's neurodivergent, has like dyslexia, who needs special font to be able to read any policy documents, or if you're somebody who maybe is needing a little bit of extra support because you have some back issues and that makes driving truck all day a little bit challenging. Whatever it looks like for you, we are able to use the reasonable accommodations procedure in order to basically make sure that you're able to be comfortable in the workplace. Okay, and then the last question, the only one that is not a straight yes or no, who is our EEO officer? You've probably already guessed if you didn't already know. It is in fact me. Essentially what that means, in addition to making sure all of our policies are up to date and disseminated to everyone, I also am required to do this annual refresher with everyone. So congrats to those of you in attendance. You will be getting a check for that so that when the auditors ever take a look at our statistics, they will see that you guys have gotten that annual refresher. If anyone were to come to me with a situation that arises that has any kind of harassment, discrimination, or other types of just EEO violation occurred, I have some responsibilities for how I am required to document and investigate those situations. And then also just administering our poster program, which if anybody has any questions about that, I am happy to do a quick audit of your poster boards. We have them all over our main campus here on the admin building. The safety office has one and 98 has one. I think that's all of them. But in addition to our poster boards on our main campus, we also have the large sandwich boards on many of our job sites. Those are our classic child labor laws, federal minimum wage requirements, but there's also our EEO requirements. This is what the Know Your Rights poster looks like. You are welcome to ask any questions off of there. They do a very good job of just quickly summarizing everything I have gone through here. So if you have any questions, again, very happy to discuss any of this in more detail with you. And then finally, in addition to my investigative and documentation requirements, I have this annual refresher with everyone, and I will also do a training with all of our new enterers to ECI. I have an onboarding program very similar to this that introduces the concepts of EEO. And otherwise, most of the time, the rest of the requirements are just having all of our policies ready if anybody were to request a physical copy of them. All right. So that's everything that we have to go over here. Unless anyone has any questions for me, I'll wish everybody a very good weekend. And again, contact details right there in the bottom right. So you're welcome to reach out to me if you have any questions.
Excellent. Thank you, Aaron. Very
Of course,
informative
Matt.
again. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate the good attention.
Can everybody see the email that went out last night? Yeah.
We can.
Perfect. All right. So going through EEO, equal employment opportunity. If you get asked on a job site, it's Aaron, right? And we have a policy. So this week's code of conduct is to maintain cleanliness and condition of vehicles and equipment. Let's take care of our tools, assets, ensuring readiness. It signifies our professionalism, pride, and attention to detail. So we talked about our first most important asset is our people in the EEO, and the code this week is our second biggest asset is our equipment and our tooling. Ownership topic of the week by Mr. Dow. How can we support good people? I'm not going to read all this for time's sake, but I really liked how he put the last paragraph. I thought that was really good. By recognizing and appreciating integrity in one another, we can help each other communicate in ways that are both respectful and effective while strengthening our culture of trust, accountability, and mutual support. I really found that I really kind of interpreted that as like really trying to find some common ground with one another, to kind of be able to work as best as we can as a team. So take the time, read that email if you haven't already. These ownership topics are fantastic. And then he finished it with thank you for appreciating and supporting one another. ECI equipment focus of the week. Let's take care of our equipment. It is the code item this week. So a couple key points. Our equipment is our biggest asset besides each other. We rely on it to perform our work, safety, accuracy, and efficiency. The cleanliness and condition of our equipment reflects who we are as a company. Looking good equipment that is well maintained shows others that we take pride in our work, respect our tools, and operate to a high standard. So let's keep equipment clean and free from clutter. Inspect equipment when it arrives each morning before use and before it leaves. At a minimum, engine oil must be checked daily before starting the machine. Periodically checks the coolant and hydraulic oil levels as well. Grease daily. Report problems and issues promptly when they arise. Use that Fleetio app or call the shop. Leave equipment in good condition for the next user. Take care of our equipment helps prevent downtime, extends its lifespan, and ensures a safer work environment for everyone. Treat our equipment as if you were owned or if you're the owner, because as employee owners, it is the case. So anything to add, Ben McKinney, or the shop on equipment?
Yeah, I just add that we can follow tag out procedures. So if you have something on site, maybe it's not a safety issue, like the bucket's not about to fall off, but it's got a problem, and it probably, your gut tells you we probably shouldn't operate it until we get this fixed, even if we physically could. Tag it out, yank the key. I know we all have keys. I think we can probably get a lot more of the magnetic orange tag out banners that we like to put on, the sheet metal on the outside of the door. But you can make one too. You can put a piece of paper that says "Do not operate" and put it on the seat. If anybody wants those, get with the shop. We can order more. But if you have something and you've got a service call scheduled for one of the guys to come look at it and repair it, and it seems like we might not want to operate it, I understand that we rely on this equipment, but you should tag it out so we don't increase the damage or create a bad situation while we wait for it to be repaired.
Yep. Well said. We added 3 new employee owners this week. McKenna, project engineer on heavy civil. Welcome, McKenna. Your first week was excellent. Looking forward to week 2. And then we had Nick on the civil side as operation technician. Welcome, Nick. And then we had a returnee, Chad Garfield, skilled labor on the civil side. Welcome back, Chad. So excited that we're continue into June. I think we have one more on the dock on Monday. So we're still very much bringing on new members, which is awesome. Matt Saganowicz, you out there?
I am.
You want to talk about how our first annual turkey hunt pool went?
It went great. We had 12 participants, and Garrett came out with the biggest bird and won by points, calculated points. I'd like to thank everybody for participating. And there's a picture of Garrett and his bird. 21 pounds, 9-inch beard, inch and 7/8 spurs. And then there he is with the cash. You see, oh yeah. So bragging rights for a year. Bragging rights for a year. So if anybody else has any suggestions or anything like this for these type of pools, just give me a shout and we'll see what we can do. But thank you everybody for participating.
Thank you for sharing, Matt. Congratulations, Garrett. So Jeremy Dean's gonna talk about the project of the week. Jeremy, you out there?
I'm here, Matt.
You want me to scroll? Or you want to take over?
No, you can drive.
All right.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. So this week we got for project of the week we got Taft Street phase 3 construction for the Center of Technology in Essex. So the Center of Technology in Essex is a technical program that offers a number of career-based learning pathways, including automotive tech, HVAC, childhood education, computer systems tech, dental assistant, cosmetology, emergency services, engineering and architectural design, game animation and web development, health professions, natural resources, forestry and horticulture, culinary, and residential building technology. So we actually did this project for the residential building technology program. And they've been building residential homes on Taft Street in Essex Junction for decades now. The students build a residential home over a 2-year period, and then the homes are sold on the open market. The students construct a home from foundation to finish, gaining hands-on experience and skills to help them enter the workforce upon graduation. The school needed to expand the existing subdivision on Taft Street in order to create additional lots to continue providing opportunities to build new homes for the students. Taft Street Phase 3 includes the creation of 6 new residential lots with a 750-foot full roadway, construction of Meadow Terrace with new water, sewer, storm, street lighting, sidewalk curb, and full depth gravel pavement section. In the village of Essex Junction, the roadways are foam insulated, which includes 2 layers of 2-inch extruded polystyrene insulation, which is just the pink board, and crushed gravel. So the foam is installed under all newly constructed or reconstructed roads in the city of Essex Junction, where frost susceptible soil exists underneath the road. The foam prevents the roadway from heaving and destroying the asphalt. ECI was awarded the project in August of 2025. However, the school could not secure funding needed to enter a contract with ECI until months later. ECI worked on this project during most of the winter of 25 into 26, installing most of the underground utilities and services. The new roadway and utilities run right through the middle of where 2 old buildings were demolished, and they were supposed to be removed from site, but most of it was actually buried in place. We ran into a lot of concrete foundations, buried building debris, abandoned utilities, and lots of other things in the ground that made it difficult to cross this area. Ultimately, we ended up removing all of the building debris within the footprint of the road and replacing it with clean fill so there wouldn't be any future sinkholes. And the project now sits dormant, and we plan to remobilize back to the site in late summer to build the roadway, sidewalk, remaining utilities, and to clean up the site. So this is the location. So Taft Street Phase 1 was kind of just that straight section where the little red pin is, and then Phase 2 was the dog leg off of that with the cul-de-sac, and then we're building Phase 3, which is the end of the cul-de-sac, kind of along that existing little gravel path there. This is a site plan, just kind of showing the alignment of the new road and the new lots that they're building. You can see in the background the school's got a house that was they were actively working on it while we were out there. It's pretty well buttoned up and dried in at this point. Yeah, there's a couple of guys. Pretty snowy out there this winter.
Greasing, which is awesome, right?
Yep. And putting in stormwater. Got lots of help down there in the hole. Looks like the guys found an existing water line and has building it. So some of the building debris that we came across. So we came across a ton of old conduits, a bunch of concrete foundations. There was a bunch of wood, just all kinds of junk in the hole while we were digging. There's more of the same. And here's the guys putting in a catch basin, looks like.
Yep.
Looks like Jaden was about to head down into a sewer manhole, if I had to guess. He's all suited up.
Ready to rock.
And putting down, I think this is a stabilized entrance. I think the entrance is getting kind of soft, and yeah, we had a lot of snow out there. The guys spent a lot of time just clearing snow from the roadway, and yeah, it was pretty nasty.
Yep. There's more snow removal.
More snow removal.
So we're going back end of the year here, end of the summer, finishing up.
That's the plan. Yep. Yeah, they kind of ran out of money. And so we pulled out, and while they're securing funds, we'll go back later this summer and we'll finish up the roadway, some of the utilities, and get it finished up for them.
Excellent. Yep. All right, from the photo archives, rebuilding Summit Street. I remember this one, 2021. Dan Decker. Ben Heath, you were the RE, wasn't you, for Summit?
Yeah, I was actually
Engineering?
I saw this last night, and this was back in 2010, I think, not 21.
Was it? Yeah.
Yep. And maybe, oh no, 2011. That's right. It says 2011 there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was the design engineer for this project, and I was the on-site resident engineer. And at that time, I had worked with several local contractors in the area on projects like this, but I had never worked with ECI. And I remember thinking, man, these guys really have their act together. They're more organized. They're doing the things they're supposed to do without me like having to demand it. It was a very good project. I enjoyed it. And it made me realize even that long ago that ECI was the best construction business partner in the area. And it was a great summer, and the project came out well.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. I remember that job. We had some utility conflicts with Vermont Gas. You and I had some conversations on that.
Yeah, well, like most of the projects we do in Civil Group, there's always a whole bunch of stuff underground that nobody knew about, and we have to figure out what to do on the spot, and everything
Yeah.
changes when you're out there. So it's
For
a
sure.
battle on most of them.
Yep. All right, it's a minute before 7, so nice efficient meeting. Please kick over attendance so we can give that to Aaron, and so send me a message. Tom Pigeon is off today, so if you could send everything to me, that'd be great. But most importantly, let's work safe, let's drive safe, let's have a great day. Let's work together.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.